All right. We are live. Okie dokie schmokies. How is everyone doing? Hey, Christopher. Welcome to Aviva Sings Out about Georgia cannabis laws. I see a few people are on here with us. Wow, the rain is so rainy right now. So I was thinking we could start by watching that news thing you were on together, Chris. It's been quite a week. Hey, Mr. Rosagio. Like it's been epic. It was like Tuesday, HB 458 was heard. Wednesday, HB 458 and HB 196 were heard. Or were they both heard Tuesday too? And they were both heard Thursday too, right? Or were they? I don't know. It's been crazy. But Christopher was on the news, so I thought we'd start by watching that clip and reacting to that together. Yeah, my flower pots are getting rained on pretty hard right now. Actually, let's watch Chris's testimony first. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were both bills heard on both days? You know what? I could check on the calendar. I just learned this really cool thing. I want to show you guys this. So I'm going to share the screen. Okay. I'm actually going to show you this. This is really cool. Okay. So now you guys can see like how to check out. I don't know if this is close enough for you, but you can look at the schedule. And I just figured this out. Like just before I went live, I figured out that you can put the dates up here. So like if you don't do that and you just like look at the schedule, okay, well, it kept the dates up there. But okay, like upcoming. Usually it's just set to upcoming, right? So basically, this is all that's left of the session. There's just 2 more days. And they don't have both of the rules calendar up, but there is going to be a floor session on the House. I don't know why it's not showing the floor session in the Senate. Is the Senate not doing any more votes? Is the Senate done? They might be, because their deadline no, the House's deadline was earlier. Anyway, it's so confusing, this whole process. It's like literally so confusing. But here you can switch that, I just realized, to date range. And so now we can do the 320. And so 321 was Tuesday. And we're going to where is it? Did I skip it? Regulated industries? Or is it in the next one? Okay, regulated industries. You can go to the agenda right there. And you can see that it was just HB 458. Okay, so it was just HB 458 on Tuesday. Not that this really matters, but just to show how epic this was. Okay, now we're going to Wednesday. Wednesday, Senate. Why isn't it? Oh, regulated industries. HB 458 and HB 196. And then I don't know, did it go to the other screen when I shared? Or do I have to share another screen? Did it do it when I pressed on the agenda? No, it didn't. Okay. So I have to show you that. All right. That's interesting. This is all like technologically new to me. So if I stop sharing that, can I start sharing that? All right, so this is too complicated. Dang, so oh wait, here it is. That's weird. It's called David Adelman. Why is it called David Adelman? The screen is called David Adelman. Maybe he's like the tech guy, or is there? Anyway, you can see that it switched to the agenda. Yeah. Exactly. But now you see that it says HBR. And so you'll just have to trust me for this next one. I'm just going to go back into the schedule. I'm just going to leave that meeting notice up for you. So now I'm going into 323. I'm looking at that same agenda. And it's the same thing. It's actually the same exact thing, I think. 336 was in there too. I don't think 336 was heard. So then I'm just going to show you like a second of the meeting, because some of you all might not have seen any of this. I don't know if you've seen any of my videos, but this is kind of interesting. All right, so we're going to then go to, this is so cool that I can do this. This is the very first time I'm sharing a screen live. It's super exciting to me. I'm a geek. What can I say? Where are you? Here you are. So this was the very last meeting where they epically killed the hemp bill. All right, y'all see that? So this is their Vimeo channel. There's also a YouTube channel for the Our House and Senate. And you can see here on the right, do you see my mouse moving when I do that, when I'm sharing the screen? Did you see my mouse going up and down? That's impressive, low res. Oh my god. Okay, so let's just make this bigger. And
House Bill 458, Representative Perkle.
Let's watch it.
There is a committee sub. They've been on the table up here all morning. All the committee members have the sub in their folders. I've got a couple of people that have wanted to speak the last two meetings. I think I've got just enough time for them. I need to ask you to keep your comments to 3 to 5 minutes. This is our last committee meeting. We have two bills left to act on. Chris, I don't know how to pronounce your last name, but you had signed up to speak on the hemp bill. All right, we'll pass you then to the next bill.
I just want to say, I know it ended up being the reason maybe why the bill was killed, but I do think that it was great that he allowed 3 days of testimony on this bill. Like, I think it was a conversation that was needed, and it was education that they needed. Wouldn't you agree? All right, let's go back.
Mr. Rashawn Bush from Lalu Enterprises. You here this morning?
Already.
All right, so you've signed up to speak on the hemp bill. You're recognized if you'll go to the podium.
Oh, I'm getting like.
We heard you once before and you were wonderful. Love to see any additional
talk again.
Comments you may have.
I just couldn't be there. Like
How
everyone.
y'all doing today?
That's great.
I'm Rashawn Bush. I live in Rincon, Georgia. As many of you already know, I've spoken here once before on this bill. I'm for it, with exceptions of page 3, line 66 and 67, which was just recently added. Luckily, I'm in on the knowing side.
What is that?
Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to stop sharing.
Be knowledgeable in what you're saying. All right, committee members, we are working off of our committee substitute to House Bill 458. It's LC 44238-9S. You will also have in your file the committee substitute as passed the House. This is our committee sub.
Okay, so they presented a new committee sub. And I'm going to show you again how to find that. Let me know if the screen doesn't change. My mic comes, what does this say? So I have to stop the video to talk, basically. The hemp bill was killed. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I find the link to the bill. I'm gonna share my screen here. So I wish I could have like all the screens on the bottom. Okay, stop the screen. Now I'm going to share the schedule screen again. Now tell me if this changes. See, what I do is, do you see this being highlighted as I do that? Like, did you see my, now anyway, okay. I'm like teaching a class. Okay, so here I am. Do you see you don't see it up here where it says legis.georgia.gov. So I'm gonna put that in here, legis.georgia.gov. Comma. Okay, so that's the website I'm on right now. And let's see if it does the magical switchy thing. So now, do you see it switched to the house? And in the amazingly low res quality, and then all, you see all of that. And then you can search legislation, HB 458. Do you see that written in there? Oh, yeah. That's the legislation we're talking about that was just killed. And so now we're searching it. And you can see that that's the legislation that we're talking about. And you can also see that the Senate, that they didn't update it to say that it didn't pass the committee. I wonder, you know what? Because they didn't vote on it. So I guess it's not killed. It's just now going into next year because it didn't really die. It just didn't get voted on. So I think it's still alive. But if we look at the current version, okay, which you probably can't read, but did you see, I've clicked on current version. Let's see, I can zoom in. Boom. All right. So this is the thing. So now if we go back, I'm just going to play it and listen to, well, he said line 66. He said he didn't like. Let's listen. Now, is it just synthetic or can you make it naturally? Can you make D8 naturally? Anyway, let's keep listening. You guys can comment. That's why I reacted to the D8. Oh, there's no sound because it's not pointed to it. Okay, alright. It's just harder.
The sale of Delta 8 altogether and limiting the sale of these products to people under 21. Originally, it was under 18, got modified to under 21. Another bill dealt with an entire licensing scheme to find a way to test and regulate these products through the Department of Agriculture. Our folders, gentlemen, you've got the letter we discussed previously from the Georgia Sheriff's Association that expresses
They're so serious. Okay, this letter from the Georgia Sheriff's Association.
their opposition to this. We also
Their opposition to what? This bill?
have a letter from the United States Department of Justice dated February 13th of this year to North Carolina that basically says, as I'm reading this letter, that the federal government has now, the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration is now aware that the Delta 8 THCO is going to be a controlled substance.
What?
That it is about to be illegal nationally. It's not yet, but it's a very clear indicator from this letter that it's.
But what if cannabis is federally made legal? Are they just gonna now D8's gonna be illegal? But it's so confusing.
Just another derivative that's a synthetic THC. The line that Rashawn is speaking about there is a prohibition on the sale of products containing Delta 8 THC, Delta 9 THC, or any other derivative of THC. Doesn't stop CBD oils or other CBGs, all the different derivatives of CB other than the synthetic THCs or other derivatives of THC, which is still a Schedule 1 controlled substance. So that is sort of an expansion of or clarification of the bill that Senator Kay Kirkpatrick had earlier that was considered in the Senate that did not pass the Senate. The other things that this bill does, and I'll just sort of direct the committee, the guts of it will be, it sets forth testing requirements and such on page 4 and lays out how we will do testing of these hemp products. And then on page 5 is the approach that I think encompasses everybody's ideas. Starting up at line 96, it has a section dealing with labeling of these products. There's no current Georgia law requiring any kind of labeling whatsoever. And this lays out that anybody selling these products, they're going to have clearly visible labels on them that tell the identity, the product name, has to have the display panel of the ingredients, has to tell the quantity of all the contents in there. It has to give the ingredients of the hemp product in descending orders of predominance by weight, the name of the manufacturer distributor, the total amount of each cannabinoid per serving of these ingestible hemp products, and suggested use instructions and directions. As some people mentioned, nobody knows what quantity they should be taking to treat certain conditions, and the expiration date. So we'll just call this the labeling section. It's to alert our citizens before they buy these products what's in them. The second there, beginning at line 110, deals with testing. And it says no retailer will be able to sell these consumable hemp products unless they have within the last 12 months had a full panel certificate analysis.
Hold on. We need a musical break real quick.
Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? You got a nice life.
Okay. Do you still hear the music or no? You don't. But did you still hear the music when the screen was gone? That was thunder. Okay, so I just wanted to show you something. Also, real quick, everyone new to my channel. Okay, thank you for letting me know. You're awesome, Mr. Mustache. Okay. So basically, this is, you can go to my hemp news playlist, and it starts with Hempdemic, the movie, the 3-hour movie that I did about cannabis. And if you scroll down, are you seeing the scroll? Then, hey, Branches, what's up? If you do, if you scroll down, then let's see if this works. Like, you'll see the most recent stuff, right? This is all the videos I've done on this session. You know what? I don't know if I added all the lives to this. I didn't add this live to it. I need to do that. So basically, this is the full hearing on the Senate floor right there. And is it going to go to that? It's doing an ad. Oh, it did. It went to it. How cool. Or water is, yeah, a water car would be cool. All right, let me turn this sound off. Oh gosh, Red Bull did not sponsor this video. I promise you. All right. 2022. Yeah, Georgia Cannabis News 2023. Here we go. I'm just putting it all the way out there.
Secretary Reed, Senate Bill 22.
All right, so
Senate Bill 22 by Senator Kirkpatrick of the 32nd and up.
Listen
To
to
his amendment.
Summers, though. He like talks really good about industrial hemp. I think he's about to come to the floor. Yeah, there he is. I'm following him with the arrow.
Thank you, Mr. President. Morning, colleagues. I want to thank the Senator from 32nd for the hard work she's put in on this bill here. Our hemp bill, in my opinion, that we have was disastrous. And we've basically gotten together and written a hemp bill that I promise you that we think we've dotted all the I's. We think we've crossed all.
Our hemp bill was disastrous. Did you hear him say that?
Thank you, Mr. President. Morning, colleagues. I want to thank the Senator from 32nd for the hard work she's put in on this bill here. Our hemp bill, in my opinion, that we have was disastrous. And we've basically gotten together and written a hemp bill that I promise you that we think we've dotted all the I's, we think we've crossed all the T's to make sure the products we get in Georgia are safe. And that's the bottom line. We want safe products. We want to make sure that when you go into a quickie store and you're not 10 years old, or if you are 10 years old, you can't buy products that say 100 milligrams of CBD or 100 milligrams of this, 100 milligrams of that, because I'll assure you, it's all BS, because if you took 100 milligrams of that stuff, you couldn't get off the floor. And the problem is there's no testing to go behind any of this stuff. There's no paperwork on this kind of stuff. And it's coming in from China. It's coming in from everywhere. And we pull these gummies off the shelf and we test these gummies in independent labs. And they find out these gummies are filled with nitrates, phosphates, fish oils, anything you can possibly think of. And therefore, they're not what I would consider pure gummies. Georgia grown stuff is pure. It's tested. It's what we need to be putting out there for people to use. We've also limited the amount of milk.
When he says that Georgia grown stuff, I feel like he's supporting whoever lobbied for the bill. Like they're the monopoly. They only want their D8 products on the shelf. Just a hunch.
Milligrams can be put in a package to no more than 500 milligrams. Well, I mean, that's a whole package, that's a whole month's worth of product. And the products, where they're designed no more than 25 per milligram, will bring these things down where they work and they're effectively in the cannabinoids that are pulled out of CBD, CBN, CBY, CBG, and all these cannabinoids that come out of these things are harnessed in the way they're supposed to work for the body. I want to push one more thing out there to you to show you'll know. We moved the age to 21, as Senator from 32nd said, because 21 is what we're looking for. We also have opened the door for, we dropped the fees, the licensing fees. This would allow more people to get involved. We were concerned before there were some on the other side of the aisle that minorities were not having a chance to be involved.
Minorities, the very first hemp farmer is Black in this state. Like, you know, this is so weird because they lowered the processing fee to $5,000, which is still way too expensive. But the farming is still just $50 an acre, which is great. But lowering it to $5,000 does not help the industrial hemp businesses. Like, it just doesn't. It's still just cannabinoids. And if you're just following this, like I explained this in Hempdemic, the 3-hour movie, well, not quite 3 hours. The first hemp bill that he says was disastrous was $50,000. No. It was $25,000 the first year to process, and then like $10,000 for the next 4 years. And it's like people who signed on to process thought that that's what they were going to do. And then the next year they raised the processing fee to $50,000 a year. So all the processors just started over because it was cheaper to just start over. They didn't change it in the bill to start at 50,000. It was still 25,000 to start, and then 50,000 every other year. Like, so everyone would just start over each year. So that it just didn't make any sense. We lowered it, like we lobbied for it, and like that was like just in videos you could find on the Hemp News. And they finally lowered the next year to 25,000 a year. So it's been 25,000 a year for like the past 3 years, and it's only one processor, and it is the processor that wrote the bill. But anyway.
This allows that to happen. We dropped the fees. We made it easier for everybody to be involved. We also opened the doors for farmers to be able to grow a type of hemp that can be used in things like brick, construction work, boards, siding, concrete work. We're talking about using it for clothing. We're talking about using the ground up stalk for feeds, for for horse feeds, for cow feeds, for dog food that can be mixed with hemp. I mean, we're doing test markets right now on dog food, believe it or not, that, it's not allowed to be sold yet. But dog people that have come in and they're signed up to be tested, they said their dogs will be 8-10 years old that have seriously moving around. Their dogs are like, young dogs again, and they're moving good again.
Okay, so how did they open the door to that in this hemp bill? How did they open the door? Okay. They didn't. They didn't. Because if you look at this hemp bill, it doesn't say anything about I mean, yeah, it's saying you can grow now if you're like they crossed off misdemeanor. Okay. They lowered the bond, which is also an issue. I'll address that if you want me to. Basically, a bunch of hemp processors, I'll address it right now. A bunch of hemp processors owed farmers money. And so the bond is something that's required of the processor, because if they get a bond, then the bond can pay what they owe. But if the bond is lower, then they only have 50,000 to pay people through the bond. Where did it say 10,000? Anyway, all right. Let's watch Chris on 11 Alive. Let's take a break from this. So I'm switching from HB 458 to HB 196, which was covered by 11 Alive. There's a big Channel 2 and Fox 5 mic also, but I didn't find it on their channel. Did you? Did anyone find the other news covering it? Let's see, where is it? I thought I had it pulled up. That's it.
In Georgia, lawmakers say they expect legal cannabis sales to start in our state in about 90 days. 11 Alive's Doug Richards tells us how lawmakers hope to fix legal loopholes before it hits shelves.
It's literally shrunk my tumor in size.
Chris Quidort has chronic benign tumors that he treats with medical cannabis oil that he has to buy from California, violating federal law barring it from crossing state lines.
It's just frustrating as a patient.
Quidort is among the nearly 30,000 patients in Georgia who have signed on to a medical cannabis registry but cannot buy it here legally. 2 companies are currently licensed to produce medical cannabis, chosen following a mostly secret process conducted by the state's Medical Cannabis Commission.
It's about money.
Republican Representative Alan Powell wants to lift that secrecy by subjecting the commission to the State Open Records Act. He also wants to broaden access to medical cannabis by allowing licensed growers to also sell it. He also wants to increase the number of state-issued grow licenses, but the Senate Regulated Industries Committee stripped that from Powell's bill.
This does not go that direction.
The Senate committee also eliminated the section of the...
Did you see that it had a Freudian slip?
Chris Quidort has chronic benign tumors that he treats with medical cannabis oil that he has to buy from California, violating federal law barring it from crossing state lines.
It's just frustrating as a patient.
Quidort
As a patient killer. Like they're killing patients. Like, seriously.
Is among the nearly 30,000 patients in Georgia who have signed on to a medical cannabis registry but cannot buy it here legally. 2 companies are currently licensed to produce medical cannabis, chosen following a mostly secret process conducted by the state's Medical Cannabis Commission.
It's about money.
Republican Representative Alan Powell wants to lift that secrecy by subjecting the commission to the State Open Records Act. He also wants to broaden access to medical cannabis by allowing licensed growers to also sell it. He also wants to increase the number of state-issued grow licenses, but the Senate Regulated Industries Committee stripped that from Powell's bill.
This does not go that direction.
The Senate committee also eliminated the section of the bill that would completely dismantle the license-issuing state cannabis commission. Instead, the panel created a committee to study it. Powell, a lawmaker since 1989, says the bill is likely to keep changing between now and the legislature's adjournment next week.
Quite frankly, any process that takes 7 years to accomplish, when you have children and people who are medically necessity to this cannabis oil, I don't see the purpose in waiting.
All right.
To think like 8 bites, he must have been screaming.
What?
He must have been crying. He must have been.
Ugh. So basically, are y'all still with me? So let's watch just a couple more. Okay, before we watch your testimony, Christopher, at the last day of the hearing, I want to say that something really interesting happened, and it was like the day before this hearing that you were at, there was another hearing in public safety in the House, hearing SB 97. And SB 97 is a better version of HB 196. And it passed public safety. And so everything that they crossed out in HB 196, like abolishing the commission, they passed in the public safety. So now it has to go through the Rules Committee, and then it goes to the Senate floor, and then the Senate votes on it. So it's just a lot, but I think that I need to write that big. SB 97 is the only cannabis bill left. And that you might want to ask your senator to vote yes on it, or to push it along, or if it doesn't get out of rules. I mean, that's the weirdest thing. It's like things get in rules, and it's like that's what happened with Kim Jackson's bill with the SB 22. It's like I was like, okay, it lowered the fee to 5,000, but whoop-de-doo, like what is this bill really going to do for industrial hemp? Like, not much. So I just wanted to teach these guys about cannabis, as much as I could. Let's look at Chris's testimony again.
It's done. Can either have been done in the state of origin, wherever it came from.
The chemistry is not my subject.
Mine either.
But if on the substitute, if we added, instead of the THC, just added THCO and on Delta 9 THCO, and then where it talks about the other derivatives, because I'm thinking if you struck that portion out, would that kind of clear it up so that we know, okay, here we're following the federal letter that you got that says, hey, here's a controlled substance. But would that not clear it up for us?
So now you're back to line 66.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. On line
66 and 67.
And an O behind the THC on both of those. And then striking that section, other derivative of THC, because I think that would be the one that would concern me, where, some of these people that need the CBD oil.
Now, remember, we're not talking about other derivatives of hemp.
Or other
but
derivatives of
THC.
THCO, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe something along those lines. I'm not sure.
Okay. I'd be receptive to that if
Legislative
the
counsel can
testimony
help us with it.
does.
All right.
Hold tight then. Any other questions? All right, Mr. Bush, go ahead and resume.
Okay.
And you might enlighten us on some of those distinctions as well.
So you stated earlier that Delta 9 is a synthetic, and it's not.
Thank you.
It's naturally occurring.
Yes, it is.
Thank
And so is Delta 8.
Thank you.
And Delta 10 in smaller quantities than Delta 9, which is why they're saying that if you enact on the way it's written right now, it actually affects legal marijuana as well. It'll put me out of business in the state.
You're not selling legal marijuana at retail now anyway, are you?
No, I'm talking
No
about
such
for
thing.
you're currently working on marijuana legislature, correct?
Right.
It's going to affect them. It's going to affect the committee that
they're licensed to sell
no
low THC oil products up to 5%.
Okay. I'm just explaining to you that all of that is, if you put Delta 9 in there with any CBD, Delta 8, anything that occurs in hemp and marijuana. They're cousin plants. So if it's illegal, by definition right here, it's banned. Legal growers of marijuana, as soon as it starts to have trichomes on it, are going to be outside of the law.
No, they'll be inside the law under House Bill 196 and previous legislation that we've passed concerning medical marijuana, low THC oil products. They have a separate code section that makes theirs legal.
So,
and they're highly licensed and regulated. 2 licenses have been granted.
Do y'all feel gaslit right now? Do y'all feel like there's some gaslighting going on? It's like if I was the cannabis plant, it's like my hair is legal with one bill and my fingers are legal with another bill. It's like free the whole plant already, people. It's so confusing. Humpty Dumpty cannot be put back together again.
Granted, 4 have been awarded but not issued yet.
So what happens when this goes into effect and there's nobody able to sell Delta 8 or Delta 10 and people can order it online and then it's coming from other states and being sold?
Same thing that's been happening for the last decades. Why?
What's really rare is that they're having a conversation. Like, you don't see that a lot. Like, someone comes up to testify. Like, they obviously have a lot of respect for this guy. I think they're just starting to have more conversations about this, which is good.
Georgia tried to make it legal here so people didn't have to do that. You default to federal law. Yes, Senator Brass.
Well, you'd reference previous law. Yes, the Class 1 and Class 2s would be covered under that, except for Section 6. All laws and parts of laws in conflict with this act are repealed. So if we're within your...
You guys get that? That's why it's so epic. Hey, Wesley. It is so epic that in this meeting, they heard bills HB 458 and HB 196. Hemp and marijuana unite. You know, like that's what this bill was about. And it's so cool. I think it's really epic and like a sign of change that these conversations happened because these bills were in the same committee on the same day. Like that's never really happened except that one time when I went to testify for hemp and they totally gutted the hemp bill and it became a medical cannabis bill. So I ended up testifying for medical cannabis and hemp at the same time. But nobody else was there. And so here it's like Senator Brass just brought up, okay, all other laws are repealed, you know? So it's like, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like they're getting to this knot that has been needing to be untangled forever. Like Chairman Cowsert was like, do the same thing you've been doing for the past 12 years. Just don't use cannabis at all. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
Substitute within this substitute, as we ban Delta 8 and Delta 9, and then any law in conflict with it, that law is gone, and we've wiped out medical marijuana and the children's.
Can't hear her. That was crazy that Senator Brass just said that, right? We wipe out medical marijuana forever with this hemp bill. That was so dramatic. I don't know if it was true or not, but it's kind of funny.
So this bans everything.
So is it your belief that if we pass any type of hemp bill, it's going to interfere with our decade of work on medical marijuana?
Okay, he's talking illegal. Oh my gosh. Oh gosh. Wesley, you have so much catching up to do.
Okay.
Question, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, question from Senator Summers.
This is to you.
They have been wanting to ban D8 all session because the feds have been talking about it, and SB 22 it passed the Senate temporarily, and then they added an amendment, and it was confusing because they were just trying to say, you know, it just can't be sold here anymore. But it died. The hemp bill died. It's very confusing. Oh, okay, you do know. All right, sorry.
Would not, if we did this, ban Georgia businesses, but still allow outside businesses to do what they want to?
No, I wouldn't do that because they couldn't sell their products in our state without the labeling and without the testing. And without compliant, retailers can't sell it.
I'm so glad I wasn't there in person. I would have been laughing so hard and
Ms. Bush,
screaming.
continue if you have
What
other
is wrong with you?
comments to make.
I do. Lines additional to
This guy is so chill. I love him.
We couldn't understand what line number you mentioned.
241 to 243 for, it says State Revenue Commission is authorized to make reasonable rules and regulations for the administration and enforcement of this article. Also.
Okay. Oh, yeah. You know you gotta let. Yeah. Just go to my hemp news thing. I brought it up earlier. But let's go to lines 241 to 243 and see what he's talking about. So we're going to go to the bill now. You're here at the perfect time, Wesley. You're gonna get caught up on everything right now. Just ask as many questions as you can, and congratulations on the festivals. All right, so we're gonna go to the bill. 241. Here we go. legis.georgia.gov. And you guys see this? No retail establishment shall sell or offer for sale any consumable hemp product in this state without first obtaining a retail consumable hemp establishment license issued by the department. No person shall act as a wholesaler or distributor of consumable hemp products without first obtaining a wholesale consumable hemp establishment license issued by the department. And so, you know, even if you're selling at festivals, you would need to do an annual permit fee of $250, which is fine. I mean, they need to, you know, have money, this department, right? And the wholesale is more expensive. I don't understand. Can someone explain to me why wholesale is more expensive? Because you're selling stuff cheaper, but I guess you're selling more of it. So I don't know why he has a problem with that language. Let's find out. Let's share.
lines number.
That is not a change. That's in the original bill.
Yes, but I would prefer it be agricultural department of ag.
Oh. Well, it says by the department. I thought it meant the Department of Ag. Oh, he just wants us to say the Department of Ag?
Exclusively.
Yes.
They're more aware of the plant, the situation, the growing process, the processing process, everything to deal with it. You involve a additional department. They're gonna have to be advised by the ag department. It's gonna create an issue for them. But exclusively for ag. But if this law passes, I would like to see it amended for what I spoke on. If not, then I'd prefer it to be thrown out, tabled, because it's going to put thousands of businesses out of business.
In other words, all these CBD businesses and all your franchises are only making their living by selling Delta 8 or Delta 9 products?
No, they'll be making their living outside of the state of Georgia if this passes.
Is that all
But-
the products you guys are selling? I thought you had all kind of derivatives of.
No, we have other types, but you have to understand that there's traces of all of these in the products. The only way to not have a trace of any of this in a full CBD product is to make your product from an isolate. That's going to be an extra process for the only processor in the state to make isolate.
Do you see how smart this guy is? It's like he's breaking it down for these senators. Like, yo, the cannabis plant has everything in it. The D8's not synthetic. I mean, it can be, but he was like, it's not naturally. It can be natural. And the senators are just like, huh?
Isolate. Once he makes isolate, he's not going to do it for free, or they're not going to do it for free. That's going to increase the cost of the product. And to be quite honest, hemp plants as a whole, with every cannabinoid there and present, is way more beneficial than taking bits and pieces away.
Can we all applaud? As a whole, one plant. He is saying it right.
Way more beneficial. So I don't understand the second gen ad made a great speech day before yesterday, how we can be on the forefront. We're not on the forefront. If you take away wheels off of a running car, it's harder for it to move forward. There's already been proof shown through everybody that's testified that there's a selling base market for these products. You referenced the poison control department that came up here and spoke. He spoke about how many calls there were. He spoke about a child being put in ICU for 24 hours, but he never spoke on what the treatment was for it. He never spoke on what the outcome was for it. I'd be interested to hear that, because if I were him in 30 years of doing that job, I would have come with what the outcome was and why it should be banned. So I just ask for all of you all to take in consideration that there's an entire industry that's already performing, already can add to the situation that's going on if it's revenue for a long term, not for short term. Not for short term. We're here to stay and try to do business in Georgia. I live in Georgia. I love it. I was born in Akron, Ohio, didn't live there. Moved to Florida, came to visit my mom in Georgia, and loved Georgia and decided to stay. I don't plan on going anywhere. Even if you pass this bill, I don't plan on personally going anywhere. It just makes it very difficult.
Cannabinoids within marijuana. So CBD is not a derivative of THC. They're two separate cannabinoids, two of the 100 cannabinoids that are the most known to us. So this bill would not affect CBD sales. Second, there's a definition for THC oil and products, which is very different from this definition of hemp products. So I don't see how a definition of hemp products would affect a definition of THC oil and products, which is the medical marijuana that we've been.
I'm falling asleep. So this guy, he is very anti-cannabis. I covered him. He's there at the Capitol lobbying against cannabis every day. I don't know what his organization is, but I saw him in the hearing for legalizing cannabis last year, Sheikh Rahman's bills that I covered a little bit of, 4 parts, and the Georgia cannabis prohibition. I'll show you a little bit of that after we look at Chris's testimony here. Chris's testimony, if you watch the whole live stream, it's at 1 hour, 30 minutes in about. Here we go.
Move forward. Hopefully the rules chairman will let it go to the floor, and certainly it'll be amenable to changes on the floor of the Senate and the conference committee process, as you know. I think we're all trying to get to the same solution, the same remedy. It's just we're concerned that even by issuing these licenses, you still got the delay before they could get to market. We got some of them that have already been awarded, but not yet issued their licenses that would probably be able to get to market.
The reason why they haven't been issued their licenses is they're caught up in litigation, because the nine of the other applicants sued the commission that approved the 6 applicants because they didn't explain why these people were so qualified, and so they think they were backdoor deals.
Quicker, even if that will clear out, and I think this gives that time. But I've got a couple of people that have asked to speak, and there may be questions for you from committee members. We've got
So Christopher literally, this is his 4th day that he went to testify at the Capitol. I just went that one time. Well, I went twice, but for HB 458, there was that one hearing that I went to that Christopher also signed up to speak, and then everyone didn't have time to speak. Like, he didn't have time for everyone to speak. That was March the 16th. And then Christopher came back the 21st, the 22nd, and now again the 23rd. I think he paid like $60 in parking. I paid like altogether like $40 in parking going down there. It's crazy.
some that went to Committee on Assignments meeting to make sure we know what we're going to be doing on the floor today.
Would you prefer me to stay in case you have any other questions?
Please do. Please stay. Okay. Chip Collins, I had you yesterday. You wanted to speak. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Based on the substitute bill, I've got no comment today. Thank you.
Wow. Maybe one of these substitutes got it right or closer to right. Let's see. Chris, I can't.
Because his substitute bill basically did not open it up. I don't even understand what HB 196 is. We'll look it up later, I guess. I didn't read the substitute yet, but SB 97 is basically reviving the original HB 196. And I hope and pray that that passes, because that'll just open up so much more freedom. I mean, it's just 5% THC, but it's a step in the right direction. I don't understand what the sub is. I think that what he subbed in for HB 196 was just keeping the 6 people. I don't know. We got to read it, but let's keep listening.
Can't pronounce your last name. You have been here for 4 consecutive meetings, and we haven't gotten to you, and I'm not going to vote on anything till we get your reviews. You are a patient, I understand?
Yes, sir.
All righty. Introduce yourself and give us a little background and tell us your
Okay, so I'm Chris. I previously was working with Reverend Gregory, so I've seen a lot of patients. I have neurofibromatosis, which is non-cancerous tumors that grow in the body. So I've been able to use the oil, and I encourage you to look up Run from the Cure, Rick Simmons. It's a type of oil that's been working, and I've been able to shrink tumors that grow on my body from neurofibromatosis. I've been able to maintain, because of that, I was put on all kinds of opiates in my past. My addiction ran, and then through the oil and through the other oil, I've been able to shrink tumors, maintain my brain tumor, and stabilize it, and also maintain my recovery through the oil. So I just wanted to just share on that part. And, I'm from Fayetteville. There are lots of people down there who are interested, and it is very hard to, and actually I want to reference in my book, because I'm taking those classes from Dr. Rwanda. And it says on right here, it says that some of the effects on the tumor cells of the higher combined on high dosage is what helps shrink it, and then the lower dosages help with the immune. So neurofibromatosis is an autoimmune disorder. So it basically produces mass tumors that grow in the body. pretty much. And through the oil and through that Rick Simmons oil, I've been able to shrink tumors and have pictures and real world evidence where the tumors have literally shrunk in size. So I'm working with my doctor at Emory through the wellness clinic. They have a low THC clinic up there, and they're interested in doing a study because of what I've been able to show working with Reverend and all that. I've been able to literally shrink my tumors. And in every other state, neurofibromatosis is on a list by itself. In Georgia, the way it was through integrated pain and seizures, because it causes seizures as well. So I just ask that you consider that and take that part into consideration on the different types of oils as far as that. So thank you.
Let's see if we have any questions. So are you on the registry now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And how long have you been on the registry?
I've been on it for about 3 or 4 years.
And you're having to renew that application every your
Yes.
status every
Well, I had one doctor who looked at it and automatically, because of the condition and other states, how it's already on there, she automatically gave it. But then I transferred it to Emory because he wants to open up the study with the NF from what I've been able to show with the tumor shrinkage. But again, that goes to the percentage and the milligram. So
It's a good facial
yeah,
expression right
high
there.
doses help the tumor shrink, and then the lower doses help more with the immune. It helps it, but not as much as the higher dose on the tumor. So,
Well, I appreciate you hanging in here with us, and I apologize I didn't call you sooner.
Yes, sir.
Because it's so important for us to hear from a patient.
Yes, sir.
And the reason we're doing this legislation is to help you and people with many of these other
yes.
conditions.
And through working with Greg, I've met lots of patients. You know, I was able to work with some of them, and just the things I've seen with those patients and the phone calls I still get of how to get a card and all the frustration.
Yeah, do y'all know who Greg is? Gregory? Totally. All right, I feel like I need to show you all who Gregory is. We got to honor Gregory for a minute. He passed away before the session, but he has been such a dynamic spirit, testifying for cannabis non-stop, coming to so many cannabis events. So if you don't know him, I am going to introduce you to him right now. Is that me? Yeah. Okay, so once again, my hemp news playlist here starts with Hempdemic, the movie I produced, which you all need to see if you haven't. I know it's long. You can do your crochet project while you're watching. Okay, so last year's videos. Okay, I got to show you this one real quick so you can get a Oh, it didn't switch. Hold on. Eh. Okay, I'm gonna get you the link to Hempdemic. That didn't work this time. Like, I must be on the wrong screen. Hold on. Oh, I'm on the editing. Okay, here's Hempdemic. All right, Wesley, here is the link to Hempdemic. It has an age freaking requirement on it, but you don't have to have an age requirement to watch like Peaches by Justin Bieber, and he talks about getting his weed from California. So what's going on? Okay, so I think I have to pull up playlists. Okay, so maybe you can see this now. Hold on. Share screen. No, that's not what I want. This is the first time I'm doing share screen technology live, so bear with me. This is really interesting. Okay, so all right, so I need to share this screen here. All right, I'm just going to show you this real quick. Hold on. Well, on February 3rd, 2022, there was a meeting amidst the legislation of Georgia. My good friend Doug Richards from 11 Alive News covered the story, and I actually didn't even notice until yesterday, February 7th. Thanks to my friends, the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society, who also, I think, just found out yesterday.
Well, for years now, as more states have legalized recreational marijuana, bills to do the same in Georgia haven't gone anywhere. But today, Republican senators held a rare hearing on 3 proposed measures.
The chairman of the committee telling our Doug Richards he does not support legalization, but the issue deserves to be heard.
No. He didn't say he doesn't support legalizing it. He just said to not interpret it as him supporting recreational cannabis.
Don't interpret that as me supporting recreational marijuana.
Just because you legalize it doesn't mean that you support doing it, right? It's legal to drink. That doesn't mean that you support drinking. Let's be clear, people.
Bills to legalize recreational marijuana have been introduced by Democrats and ignored by Republicans here at the Capitol for years.
Can we just ponder for a moment the brilliance of the name of this article? GOP ponders marijuana legalization bill. Of course, I prefer to call it cannabis, but this really captures what happens at the meeting, which I'm going to link below. GOP, it's like they're just pondering it, but it's a positive thing because they're actually pondering it. They're not saying no. Now, just in case you didn't know, GOP also stands for the Grand Old Party, which also alludes to... All right, enough of that. So I put a link if you want to see some of that. I covered, I wanted to find that guy in there, but maybe I will later. But I really want to share with you some of Reverend's words. Okay, so you can see here is the Hemp News playlist. So I can just scroll down and find his video, which is condoms full of hash oil, and we'll just watch a few minutes of that. He came and testified, and he asked me to do a video.
And one was a leaker.
Welcome to Aviva Sings Out, y'all. Watch the first video about HB 1400. Okay, so HB 196 was basically HB 1400 last year, and for some reason it didn't pass. Linked below. Tell me again, Chairman Powell, why the 16 applicants filed a protest.
There was a failure in the due process of the application evaluation. And according to DOS, people who filed a protest would now be the only people who had legal standing to file litigation.
To avoid litigation, which would hold up the medical cannabis program even longer, Chairman Powell filed a bill to grant all of these protesters medical cannabis licenses and just be done with it. But what do the other legislators and the public think about this?
Next, we have the Right Reverend Greg Davis.
Watch out, microphone incoming. Here comes a bag. Get away. I think I'm dead. Get that strap off of me.
Committee, appreciate y'all. I want to correct something here right off.
Okay, but first I must show you how I can lift my eyebrows so high.
This issue's been going on for 40 years. The Controlled Substance Therapeutic Research Act 43, 34, 120 is still on the books. It's still law. I asked the Secretary of the Senate, I said, do you realize that the law is still on the books? I said, I want you to know I've been lobbying here for the medicine.
Little achy in the joints and not too spry.
We're probably city living.
Probably.
I said, you know that that law is still on the books? He said, oh no, that law gone with the wind.
Wait. What are we going to do about the cannabis? Frankly, dear, I don't give a damn.
And I'm right in his office. I said, is that Georgia code? So, well, of course it is. I'm the Secretary of the Senate. I said, well, pull it off. 43, 34, 120. The intent of the legislature is there in 43, 34, 121. You can read it. It's Georgia law.
You can read it, which means anyone can read it, which means I can read it, which means you can read it through me reading it. Okay. The General Assembly finds and declares that the potential medicinal value of cannabis has received insufficient study due to a lack of financial incentives for the undertaking of appropriate research by private drug manufacturing concerns.
What if an herbalist wanted to do the study? Why is it limited to pharmacopoeia? What's up with that?
Individual physicians cannot feasibly utilize cannabis in clinical trials because of federal governmental controls, which involve expensive, time-consuming approval and monitoring procedures.
So you're telling me the pursuit of liberty, justice, and happiness is limited by price? That's not capitalistic America.
The General Assembly further finds and declares that limited studies throughout the nation indicate that cannabis and certain of its derivatives possess valuable and, in some cases, unique therapeutic properties, including the ability to relieve nausea and vomiting, which routinely accompany chemotherapy and radiation used to treat cancer patients. Cannabis also may be effective in reducing intraocular pressure in glaucoma patients who do not respond well to conventional medications. Or even if they do. Look, here are two studies.
Studying the benefits of this herb, I'm not even going to call it a drug.
Here's the-
Sounds a lot like medical benefits. Sounds a lot like you cannot consider this a Schedule 1 drug.
Check this out. This is from 2010 Georgia law, but it was 1976 when a federal judge ruled that people could smoke pot for their glaucoma. That's almost 50 years ago. Why has this not been amended? Not only have they not amended the Controlled Substance Act, they kept this a secret from us. There were about 13 federal cannabis patients until 1992 when the Bush administration got tough on crime and stopped accepting new patients who were dying from AIDS. Way to protect us from those dying criminals. What the heck? Elvie petitioned to join the program back in 1988 when she was arrested for growing her own medicine. She was approved and won her court case. You can watch the video, but I want to see it.
That's never brought up during any of these hearings. Alan Peake told me on day one, I brought it to his attention. Y'all have that. Naturally derived dronabinol. That's the name of this medicine. This is the Regulated Industries Committee. You don't regulate medicine. You're talking about medicine here.
They regulate gasoline.
I healed my first patient of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in 2009. after watching Run from the Cure, the Rick Simpson story. I went to Jamaica and came back with condoms full of hash oil. And one was a leaker. That was a rough trip. So Sharon Cooper on 2014, she said, I told her, I said, you have to have this in non-civil judiciary committee.
She would not eat hemp seeds. All right, I'm gonna what am I gonna do? I guess I'm gonna open it up for questions. I think I'm just confused, like in both of my testimonies, and if you want me to show you some of my testimonies from this year, I can do that, or last year. But in both of the testimonies, I'm trying to teach them about hemp foods, like hemp seeds, hemp sprouts, hemp oil, like how that's food, you know? And like Sharon Cooper, she didn't want to try hemp seeds because she thought it would get her high. Like, I really think they don't know the difference. I'm not sure if they know the difference. So what else can I share with you all? I just think this conversation is really important because I feel like there's about to be like this breakthrough or breakdown of the collective consciousness about what cannabis is, because they're trying to control it and regulate it, but they're really trying to control the industrial side, which is very unique to hemp. I mean, you can make alcohol out of corn, but they're not treating corn like a, prohibited substance. So why are they doing this to hemp? It's very strange. So what else can I share with you all? And of course, you are all invited to my Qigong class. I do a live Qigong class, 11:30 Monday mornings. And if anyone wants to donate to my hard work sharing this information, it is work. It is. I do love it, though. I do have a donation link I'm just going to post there, just because you never know. You might want to throw me some coffee money or something. So here are several ways you can donate to the cause. And you can also sponsor a video if you would like. Definitely going to do a few more about this session and explaining these things. And yeah. Any questions? Direct me. What would you like to talk about next? Like a recap. Oh, I wouldn't mind seeing the Yolanda's testimony again. They both testified on the 22nd, I believe. So let me see if I have that one pulled up. Yes, I do. Let's do that. Weird. Scroll down a little more. Not on my scroll list. Huh. That's so weird. Maybe if I move it. No. All right, let's try this one more time. Is that it? Yeah, cool.
Botanical science, for example, it has hardship programs, just like we do in medicine. So it doesn't matter the patient's income. It doesn't matter the patient's location.
So this is one of the monopolies. I think an attorney or one of the approved medical cannabis licensees who's fighting to not expand it and just keep it at them.
Taking care of that patient is a goal of botanical
So
science.
you have programs that'll make the medicine cheaper for those that can't afford it?
Absolutely.
Okay. Senator Summers, I recognize you for a quick question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Fowler.
Yes, sir.
Are you growing currently?
Yes, sir.
You have a 100,000 square foot facility in Glenville, Georgia?
We have a 160,000 square foot facility in Glenville, Georgia. We're currently growing. Yes.
So you're currently growing marijuana, currently growing it.
Yes, sir.
And you're saying you could bring product to market by April?
That was the other gentleman. I'm saying early summer, but we'll say June. We'll say June.
What has kept you from doing that so far? Make me understand exactly what, since you had a license, even though the lawsuits are going on, what has kept you from doing that?
Well, the license wasn't issued 2 years ago. We were tied up in court for a year, which kept us from growing. So once the license was issued, we had proper inspections by the commission. We're growing.
I think the license was issued as like an emergency order from Hemp, even though they were under litigation. I could be wrong about that. So someone correct me if I'm wrong.
And then we do not yet have dispensaries because the dispensary process has just now been granted, I believe in April, when they're going to be expecting dispensary license. So that's why I'm giving you the projection of June.
Right. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us today. Okay. I've got one more. I have promised Yolanda Bennett. She's been here for Henderson. Yolanda, you spoke yesterday. All right, well, I'm going to call on the doctor first.
Thank you all for the opportunity to speak this morning. My name is Dr. Yolanda Henderson. I am a United States Army veteran. I served during Iraqi freedom for this country, and I am a doctor of naturopathy that studies herbal, vitamins, minerals, nutrients. I have a short testimony about my disease or disorder that I suffered serving this country. I'm a multiple sclerosis survivor. This month is Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month. I am wearing orange in honor of those who are fighting this terrible disorder.
You got an opinion on House Bill 196? How about share that with us?
Sure, I have an opinion. My opinion.
That is so nerve-wracking when they talk like that. It's like he didn't cut off the guy that was speaking like that.
Was that this should go and be revised at a later date, but patients like myself are in need and have been waiting for medical cannabis in this state for quite some time. Under what I came up with is that there is a high demand. I am also the owner of the Atlanta, Georgia Academy of Cannabis Science, where we talked and briefed on the licenses, the laws, the rules, and the benefits of getting the license, how to apply. We consulted in the state of Georgia under our classes, and we came to Georgia with the opportunity to help those who were Georgians to get the license and to be successful in their licensure process. We also came up with the numbers that it would actually take 100 dispensaries at 100,000 square foot of the Class 1 licenses to meet the demands. If only 1 out of every 10 persons takes advantage of the use of medical cannabis as their medication, the math is very simple. That 3,150 times the 1 million people in Georgia that has access or don't have access to the medical cannabis at this time, that there will need $3,276,000. And the numbers may stagger anyone's imagination that this could be the economic potential of the implementation of the Haley's Hope Act. And that was back when Haley's Hope Act was in legislation. So obviously for this to happen, the industry will have to have, or to be fully operational as a validation of this type of revenue. We recommend that the Mayo Clinic recommends that for epilepsy, for the most part, patients are recommended to take 300 milligrams of CBD oil per day, which is 9 grams a month, and at $50 per gram. If you're lucky to find that low of a price, this equals to $450 a month or $5,400 per year. In addition, we stated that if a pound of medical cannabis in Georgia imitates the average price per pound in the rest of the country, for the state of Georgia to fulfill the demand, it will have to produce a minimum of 1,755,000 pounds a year, which in a population of 1 million patients only equates to 1.67 pounds per patient. And I'm saying this as a number that will be increasing with the laws changing to adapt to the medical cannabis benefits. I teach in our courses as a doctor that there are over 2,000 maybe health ailments that medical cannabis can treat.
2,000 at least, right? I mean, it's so good.
The oil per day, which is 9 grams of plants, will provide relief that we need at the beginning stage, at an early stage of a preventative, which is what I learned in my courses and my class and education degree, that preventive medicine is going to help with overall health and wellness opportunities before they get to the medical hospitals, before they get to these places where they're going to need the medications that we have not banned or that have caused side effects that have been tremendous to a lot of our healths. Myself, as a PTSD survivor, been on opioids and have suffered opioid addiction due to the opioids being overly recommended by physicians or doctors in the medical industry. Now, I have no objections, and I do not want to say that medical I'm against all medical, because we have accidents and we have opportunities for anesthesiology and things like that. I have 8 kids, so I've been to the hospital and had to have anesthesia a couple of times. So I appreciate the medical industry. My case and my point is that we have to understand that there are going to be people who would rather have a better quality of life with medical cannabis, and holding up in court and legislation have taken me away from being able to go into the pharmacy or go into the dispensaries, wherever, and be able to get a preventative medication.
That's what I don't understand, is like they're creating this whole different dispensary thing for cannabis, but they can't. If it's medicine, can't it just be sold at a pharmacy? Like, why does there have to be a whole separate dispensary? It's because it's geared as a money-making recreational thing eventually. Like, everything is backwards.
That will help my diagnosis be minimum as possible. And that's my testimony. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you being here. Yolanda, I told you could speak briefly. Do you want to speak again today, or did you get your say yesterday? All right, if you will make your 2 points, I'm gonna let Chairman Powell close. You want to speak?
Like, all stood up at the same time. I was like, oh, is Chris talking?
Once again, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Yolanda Bennett from the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society, co-founder and operations manager. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. And the 2 points that I wanted to make to include in this is about since the medical cannabis cards have been available, patients have been having to pay every 2 years for a cannabis card. They've been having to pay for evaluations for the card, which
What happened?
ranges from $150 to $450 for evaluations. Some doctors require you to come back between 3 to 6 months as a follow-up for them to go ahead and keep your medical cannabis card active. I thank you, Dr. Fowler, for speaking on something that I was going to ask about programs for indigent patients, because that's what our organization was founded on, because we were concerned about the patients being able to afford this product. So those are my points. And yeah, the thing is,
thank you.
And if you all could have some type of subsidies for the different ones that are awarded the licenses, so they won't incur these fees, the extra fees, just provide more access for those who cannot afford the product, because you have a lot, because it's not covered by insurance. There are very few physicians here in Georgia that allow healthcare insurance to pay for the evaluation. There's not a listing of physicians. I've contacted the DPH, trying to find a listing of the physicians who conduct the medical cannabis license. Not the medical.
I know what you mean, the registry.
Yeah,
Okay.
the evaluation. If we had the list of doctors who actually conduct the evaluation, that will give us more access for the patients. And with us, I answer the phone calls bulk of the time when people call us looking for a doctor who conducts the medical cannabis evaluation. I've gotten cussed out because, yes, and I don't like it. They're taking out what Georgia hasn't provided for the patients on me. I've sat on the phone call and I just listened because I understand their frustration, because I got frustrated when I tried to contact the Georgia Cannabis Access Community. When I attempted to contact them, all you get is a recording. There are no listings on the doctor. That's why they come to us and asking us. And it's like, we're having to do some research to try and find these doctors.
And I think resolving the Cannabis Commission, like SB 97 wants to do, will solve that. It's like putting the power in the homeowner instead of the HOA, maybe. I don't know.
Doctors.
So you're not pleased with the performance of the commission either?
No, I am not pleased with them.
All right.
The transparency is needed. And like I said, hey, we're fine with, me personally, I'm fine with it. The thing about it is, what is it that they had, the redacted forms, what do they have to hide? We don't care about the trade secrets or anything like that. The only thing that we pretty much care about right now is getting our meds, because the longer we wait, the more we're going to end up incurring more fees for paying for evaluations, paying for the card every year. Where does that money go?
I hate to cut you off, but there are members in this committee that are keeping them from having a quorum and insurance.
All right. I'm going to go to her other testimony from the day before because I didn't watch that yet. So we're going to watch that together. Yay. Is anyone still with me? You've been so quiet, y'all.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Yolanda? Come on up. Yolanda, go ahead. Come up here. Come sit on the front row. No, ma'am, go to that podium. I'm speaking to another gentleman back there. That's good.
Good evening. I appreciate you all allowing me to speak. Briefly, my name is Yolanda Bennett, and I am the co-founder and operations manager of the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that has been assisting patients with navigating through Georgia's low-dose THC program since 2019. Our main goal is to ensure that underserved communities, low-income veterans, disabled, and previously incarcerated persons have access to affordable cannabis and medical cannabis cards in accordance to the prospective state laws. We believe in patients over profits. In the previous hearing, and also this hearing, refers to patients visiting emergency rooms and urgent care over consumption of hemp and from derived THC. The issue is due to lack of knowledge about the product. Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge." Many people don't understand how to use the product. So this could be the reason why so many people find themselves in the emergency department. So instead of putting the blame on the product, place it on the lack of knowledge.
That's what I'm saying.
Place it on the lack of knowledge. Classes or materials and instruction should be available for the consumer if a vendor sells the hemp products. Can I go on? I got just a little bit more. Oh, that's it. Okay. Oh yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow for 196. I can like I say, but I just want to let you all know that the reason are those CBD gummies or they're THC. Only reason why I was asking
we
is
had
because
a comedian on our committee that thought that'd be funny.
Okay, I got you. The only reason why
funny.
the reason why I asked because I was very concerned as far as how you all were ingesting because I already because I was concerned because I was like that's why I said the lack of knowledge. 2 packs, I got you. Okay,
We're
so
scared to death after all this testimony. Might never taste it.
that's right. Like,
what is your name?
Okay.
You got something unique and complex you want to tell us? Come on. Because our last bill dealt with those 2 words, complex and unique. All right. Yeah, I'm going to give you about a minute and a half or 2 minutes because
I'm going to read really, really fast then. Hello, my name is Sammy Moore. I'd like to start by thanking the committee for your time. I'm the owner of Cloud9 Smoke Company. Yes, my schedule is unique and extensive. And I cleared it to be here today. And this is very important to our industry. Cloud9 has over 50 retail locations across Tennessee, Florida, and of course, the majority of the locations are in Georgia. We currently employ over 400 employees with a payroll that is 7 figures a month. Our business did over $48 million in revenue last year and over $12 million in hemp products alone. Between the taxes, sales tax, payroll tax, tobacco tax, income tax, and vapor tax that includes hemp products was over 8 figures that I paid last year. This bill would eliminate half the workforce and the taxes we pay for this state overnight.
Wow.
Our business has grown substantially the last few years. We attribute our growth to focusing on taking care of our employees, mentoring them on skill development, and giving them opportunities to one day own their own franchises. We currently have 8 franchise locations who also.
So what I don't understand, and I'm gonna probably end shortly here. Yay. What I don't understand is if they didn't want this hemp bill to move on with the D8 stuff, why didn't they just scrap that and just do the industrial hemp lowering of the fee to the $5,000? It's just so silly. All right, you guys. Have you all seen the overdub video I did about my testimony from the 16th? Should we end with that? It'll hopefully be funny to you. All right, cool. And then if you guys want to see more of my testimony, I could play that too. But
Here comes Squibs to the rescue. In the cannabis car. Will all the puppets please rise?
oh my god, I can't watch this. I'm going to uncomfortably stare without blinking. Oops, I blinked.
Don't forget to tell them orange is a big process for CBD too, and also breast milk has endocannabinoids. Scribbles.
Let's keep this. Well, I'm looking in the handout and I don't see anything about boobies.
There are two cannabinoids that we make when we're nursing babies, and they actually help babies to actually suck the breast.
Who's gonna Google it?
You mean guagle? I guess now we know why those are so addictive.
Right? I just got that neurotransmission too. Yep. Can you keep your show on the podium?
You're saying Scribbles is the only puppet allowed?
Boring. Wait, what does this say? Okay, add another superpower to the list. Oops. Well, we can't ban them, but we can control them.
So if we extract all the cannabinoids from breast milk, we don't have to legalize weed.
I feel very uncomfortable right now. Very uncomfortable. And then we can administer it in a typical bottle. I think it'd be wise if I stay out of this conversation. It's making me kind of sad. Mm-hmm. I think I'm gonna cry. I'm here for you, man. I'll get through it.
Come on, cheer up. We're talking about.
Oops. I'm crying. I think it's our turn to overdub the girl. Woman.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I can't do it. Is anyone gonna do it?
You guys really suck.
Well, that's what happens, right? When you activate our anandamide.
That which she calls it?
Is that the magic of raw milk? All this booby talk is giving me the munchies. Great. My committee's turned into a bunch of babies. I need my mommy.
Choo-choo, choo-choo train.
Does anyone know a good bedtime story?
Research shows nostalgia can help you remember ads. So customize and save.
Hi, I'm back. Well, that's a good thing to end on. Does anyone know a good bedtime story? Maybe I should read you a bedtime story. I can't believe I've been on for almost 2 hours with the recap. But to end it, I'll just say there's like 2 more days of session left. So SB 97. SB 97 is the only one left. And do we want to pull it up real quick? Do y'all want to see it? Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's just end by bringing up SB 97. And you can write you're a legislator, like I did. I said, "Dear Senator Parent," that's her name. What's my letter? I can read it to y'all if you want. That'll be your bedtime story. And I did do a short video on it as well. How's my kitty cat doing? She was like, I am not into this loud thunder. I am hiding under the table. All right, so I'm going to pull up the SB 97 legislation. It's pretty weird. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-na-na-dum. Okay, there it is. We're going to zoom in. And I'm going to share the screen. Thanks for your patience, you guys. It's raining. It's pouring. Huh. It's not showing it. Oh, there it is. You see it? SB 97. If I zoom in, oh, it's not showing you the bill. That's weird. So it's on my screen, but I guess it's like, so this is the weird thing. It's like you have to press current version right there. You know, it says, and basically that, I don't know how this is even possible, but the Senate passed SB 97 as like a cyber command act, and then they gutted it and just turned it into the HB 196 for the House. So it doesn't have to be voted on by the Senate, I don't think. Or maybe it has to go back to the Senate after it's voted on in the House. I have no idea. But it passed the Public Safety Committee. And I have a short video on my channel about that. But it's not letting me, like, I wonder if I can share pictures. I don't think I can. Oh, wait. If I open the PDF in a new screen, can we see that? Let's see. Let me remove this one. Do y'all have any questions about how a bill is made? Huh. What's that? Is that it? That's it! Yay! We got it. All right. Do you guys see the blow up? There it is. To amend Article 9 of Chapter 12, blah, blah, blah. To transfer duties and responsible. Oh, I didn't say this. This is like the most important part. To transfer duties and responsibilities of the Georgia Access to Medical Cannabis Commission to the Department of Agriculture. To abolish the Georgia Access to Medical Cannabis Commission. To revise definitions to provide for the legislative oversight. To authorize the location of retail outlets for dispensing, blah, 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 blah. Let's scroll. Commissioner means Commissioner of Agriculture. You can have a university license. So they're going to have a medical cannabis division in the agriculture. This is good, people. The Georgia Access to Medical Cannabis Commission shall be abolished. All members shall be terminated. And the employees shall be transferred to the Department, I guess, of Agriculture. The commissioner shall have the power to apply for state funds, okay, grants, donations. It's just so frustrating that there's still no gasoline. There are fines. All right. Sorry, I'm going so fast. Do you guys want to read this? I think we are straggling here at the end, hanging on a hair. Legislative Oversight Committee to review the operations. See, that's it. Okay, this is interesting. The Speaker of the House shall appoint one of the reps, and the Lieutenant Governor shall appoint one of the senators to serve as co-chairpersons of the Legislative Oversight Committee. The Oversight Committee shall periodically inquire into and review the operations of the department with regard to medical cannabis and evaluate success with which the commissioner is accomplishing the duties. They need the Class 1 licenses need to prove that they have $2 million in cash. That's what makes them qualified, having lots and lots and lots of money. And no felony background. And a $625,000 cash bond. All right, anyway, you guys can read it. I will put the link to the bill. I think this is the link. Money makes anyone qualified. All right, well, what else can I say? Night night. Should we end with a Scribbles song?
Gasoline, pretty and cosmic and smart. Gasoline, giving nature a new start. Gasoline, opening up all our hearts. Gasoline, gentle and kind, not so harsh. Gasoline, gasoline, I sing this song with my tambourine. Gasoline, gasoline, I sing this song jumping high on my trampoline. Gasoline, what the whole world can afford. Gasoline, can no longer be ignored. Gasoline, cleans the air as it's made. Gasoline, leaves water clean so we can wait. Every crop helps us stop polluting our homes and where we shop, absorbing tough CO2. Gasoline, oh how I love you. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Clap, clap, snap, snap. For the win. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Gasoline. Clap, clap, snap, snap. Kind of mean. Pour it in. For the win. Gasoline. It's kind of mean. Gasoline. 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 We all got that gasoline. 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 Did you just ask for gasoline? Gasoline. Gasoline. We all got that gasoline. So clean. Thank you so much.
I love how Pocahontas' Colors of the Wind came on right afterwards. All right, y'all. Have a beautiful night. I hope that this was helpful in some way. I hope that SB 97 passes, I guess. I hope that this goes in a direction where cannabis can be completely free. And thank you all for everything that you are doing. And I guess I'm going to go live one more time to talk about what happened in session. If you're not on my email list, definitely put your email in the comments or email me at Aviva and the Flying Penguins. You are so welcome, Wesley. Thank you for everything you are doing. Aviva and the Flying Penguins, and for your beautiful honey. At yahoo.com. Email me your email. Oh, .com. I think that needs to, you can't cut and paste it, sorry. Anyway, I do emails about all this stuff during session, and we will be doing a Georgia Hero event. So if you want to be involved in any way, let me know. Education, education, education. And that was my testimony with them. If you want to see my whole testimony, I'll link it below as well. Because I totally was like, we need to take a step back and educate, because honestly, y'all don't even know what hemp food is. Like, you're not eating hemp food. You don't know what it is. And it is true that this, this video does also have some overdub madness in it, because why not? Yeah. So I will send out an email about what happened with SB 97 and show the other. I did. Were you here for it? I showed it already. And there's a link. I guess you went away for a minute. Oh, yeah, there is a different one in there. You could just watch it though. I'm about to fall asleep on myself. There is another overdub in there, which I'm gonna extract and add some things to as well. And yeah, there's the End the Prohibition in Georgia videos. There's 4 of those so far. I sometimes do little overdubs in those too. But thank you so much for hanging out with me, y'all. I think some good things are happening. So let's stay hopeful and connected, and come meditate with me tomorrow, 11:30 if you want. And there's no other questions. I am going to say good night, beautiful people. And hopefully technology will keep this up for others to see. So good night, be well, and I will definitely pet the kitty cat for you all. I wish she would come say hi. Meow meow, you want to say hi? She's so cute. I just look at her and I am filled with like magical pink glitter energy. Maybe she'll say hi in Qigong class tomorrow. All right. Night, night. I will keep y'all posted tomorrow.